Councilmember Hugh.
I move we approve ordinance number 2845, new series.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Hugh, a second from Councilmember Martinez. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Sherwood.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez.
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Shavira.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Connect.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Moving on to resolutions. Mr. Bowers, will you please introduce item number 11?
Mayor, members of the council, item number 11 is the fiscal year 2013-14 tentative budget, and will be presented by Sherry Schuhammer, the Executive Director of Financial Services.
Ms. Sherhammer?
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Mayor and Council, good evening. Tonight I am presenting the tentative budget for next fiscal year, 2014. Council approval of the tentative budgets will set the maximum level of expenditures for fiscal year 2014. The purpose is to establish a maximum amount of revenue and expenditures. Adjustments from this point forward can be made as long as the maximum amounts remain unchanged or are decreased. Council approval of the tentative budget includes adoption of City Council's financial policies. These financial policies are included in the tentative budget document that was provided to Council last week and is included as part of this agenda item that was posted publicly. With the adoption of the tentative budget resolution, Council will then give notice of the date for public hearings and adoption of the 14 budget, all of which are scheduled for June 11th. The public notice also gives notice of the date for adoption of the 2014 property tax levy, which will occur on June 25th. After tonight's evening meeting, the public notices will be published in the Glendale Star on May 30th and June 6th in compliance with state statutes. At the next voting meeting on June 11th, Council will conduct a public hearing on the property tax levy, as well as the truth and taxation hearing. Council will conduct a separate public hearing on the 2014 budget, and then will convene a special meeting to adopt the final budget with a resolution. The FY 2014 recommended operating and capital budget provide a multi-year path to improve financial stability for the organization, as discussed with Council during the public budget workshops. On the operating side, the 14 budget provides for gradual rebuilding of the general fund balance, continued evaluation of departmental operations to increase effectiveness and efficiency with reductions in ongoing expenditures. It also provides additional funding for, among other things, employer contributions for both medical insurance and retirement plans for employees, additional pay-related expenses for represented employees, as well as additional funding for electricity to operate city buildings and water for city parks and right-of-way. There will be no rate increases for residents for water, sewer, sanitation, or landfill services. And as discussed earlier, there will be a continuation of current operating hours for the city's 2 aquatics facilities, as well as the city's libraries. The recommendation is to adopt a resolution approving the 2014 budget, directing publication of the tentative budget, giving notice of the date for public hearings on the tentative budget, the property tax levy, and the truth and taxation notice, and giving notice of the date for the adoption of the property tax levy. Adoption of the 2014 budget and the required public hearing are scheduled for June 11th, the next evening meeting, and the property tax levy and the property tax levy and truth and taxation public hearing will also occur on June 11th, with formal adoption of the property tax levy on June 25th. And that brings me to the conclusion of my presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Sherhammer. Are there any questions from the council? Seeing none, we have a couple people who'd like to speak.
Mr. Ken Jones.
Mr. Jones. If you would, sir, if you'll state your name and the city that you reside in. Don't need your address, just the cross streets or the district that you live in, sir.
Thank you. Ken Jones, Ocotillo District, Glendale. We've been reading that some of you want to raise the arena management amount in this budget. Is this a way to pay more corporate welfare? The NHL is back in town. They're hoping to skim more millions of dollars from the city of Glendale. They were able to talk the last mayor and council out of $25 million 2 times. That's $50 million you gave them. Now they expect you people, you 7 people up there now, to make some more stupid decisions. I want to remind you that you're required to fund the police and fire departments, our public safety. You have no duty to pay millions of dollars to the owners of a hockey team. There has already been enough corporate welfare to owners of the Coyotes. Beacon Sports will get management bids this coming Friday. We will finally see some real figures about what we need to spend to manage the arena. This time, do the job that you're hired to do. Spend our money wisely. Remember that public safety comes first, always comes first. And we must not close one of our fire stations and then go finding extra money to keep a hockey team here in town. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. We have a second person would like to speak also.
Yes, Mr. Kenneth Sturgis.
Kenneth Sturgis, like South Dakota. If you would, sir, state your name and or the district that you live in or the crossroads. We don't need your address.
My name is Kenneth Sturgis. I live in the Yucca district.
Very good, thank you.
I have to say it's hard to follow Mr. Jones anytime he comes up and speaks before this
Passionate man.
council. Yes. I want to thank you, Mayor, and the city council members. The city and the members of the city council are soliciting proposals from qualified venue managers to provide sales, marketing, operational, managerial, and maintenance support and services for the Jobbing.com arena and the ancillary parking facilities owned by the city. This budget has an arena management fee of $6.5 million. How much are we, the citizens of Glendale, getting in return? As Mr. Jones states, the NHL has received $25 million per year for a couple years, and what have we really gotten back? From our own city's Follow Your Money website, for the Arena Special Revenue Fund 1780, the Jobbing.com Arena and the Westgate Center generated the following sales tax revenues. For fiscal year 11, $2.1 million between July 2010 and June 30th of 2011. Fiscal year 2012, $2 million. Fiscal year 13, $3.7 million. That seems a little unusual because the NHL had a lockout between October of 2012 and January 2013. And I have to give a special shout out to my casual fan for that research nugget. Also, based on available Pollstar numbers, which ranks the top 200 arenas, under the NHL's management from 2009 through 2012, Jobbing.com's arena ranking has fallen from 58th to 166th. Do you really want to continue to have the NHL or any NHL hockey team owner managing Jobby.com Arena any longer. Earlier today, there was a statement issued by the city acknowledging that separate meetings between the various members of the council and the NHL commissioner, Gary Bettman, and George Gosby, a principal with the Renaissance Sports and Entertainment Group, the latest potential buyers of the Coyotes hockey franchise, took place. Haven't we seen these types of meetings before at the 11th hour? My perception of these meetings is it was an attempt by the NHL to somehow pressure the city into an additional extension of these arena management bids beyond the deadline of May 31st, and even goes so far as to suggest that this process be suspended and somehow continued as a sole source agreement with the NHL. The city statement also acknowledged that it will not make a decision until all pertinent information has been collected, reviewed, and all other available options have been thoroughly studied. For that, this citizen is grateful, but is not entirely convinced. In my opinion, a bigger downfall of this whole process is the lack of transparency in these types of separate meetings and the circumvention of the open meeting laws. From Article 7.5.2, circumvention of the open meeting law, I quote, "Public officials should refrain from any activities that may undermine public confidence in the public decision-making process established in the open meeting law, including actions that may appear to remove discussions and decisions from the public view." If I may digress a moment. In Saturday's online AZ Republic, they posted an article at 10:45 p.m. Why, I have no idea, but I'll have to ask somebody from the Republic.
He couldn't sleep.
Yep. Thank you. John Junker will likely be sentenced for a prison term of 1 year and a day stemming from the Fiesta Bowl campaign finance scheme. In January 2012, the Attorney General's office and the FBI agents raided Gary Husk's office to obtain records. Although Husk has maintained his innocence.
You could wrap it up, sir. Your time.
All right. Mr. Junker and other current and former Fiesta Bowl employees have implicated him in this financial scheme. Wasn't Husk a lobbyist for the city of Glendale from 2005 to 2011? Only time will tell what would become of Mr. Husk's future. Now, I'm not going to continue any more comments about the arena or any of the things related to the attendance, but I would like to say and finish my comments about the business of hockey.
If you could do it really quick, sir. Please.
All right, thank you. It really boils down to this. Who is willing to buy this hockey team and keep them here? And who is willing to accept the city's $6.5 million arena management fee? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? No? Okay, do I have a motion?
You have to read she needs to read the resolution.
Okay, before we do the motion, Ms. Hannah, can you please read the resolution by number and title?
Resolution number 4684, new series. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, adopting a tentative budget of the amounts required for the public expense for the City of Glendale for the fiscal year 2013-2014, setting forth the revenue, the amount to be raised by direct property tax taxation for the various purposes, adopting City Council's financial policies, and giving notice of the time for hearing taxpayers and for fixing tax levies.
Mayor,
Vice Mayor?
I move that we pass and adopt resolution number 4684, new series.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilmember Martinez. To approve recommended action, is there discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please vote nay.
Nay.
Nays, 2 nays.
2 nays. Appears that the ayes have it, do have it, so ordered. Motion does carry. The next item on the agenda is the council request for a future workshop and executive session. Vice Mayor Knack, I believe you have a request to make.
Yes, Mayor. I move that we hold the next regularly scheduled city council workshop on Tuesday, June 4th, 2013 at 1:30 p.m. in city council chambers, to be followed by an executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilmember Shavira. To approve, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please vote nay. Your ayes have it, do have it, so ordered. I will now move on to the citizen comment portion of the meeting. Council makes the opportunity available to the citizens to bring information and business before the council that's important to the city of Glendale. It's not on the agenda this evening, so we cannot take action on that information. Have you got any cards?
I do, Mayor. B.J. Becker.
B.J. Becker. Mr. Becker. You would, for the record, sir, state your name and the district you live in, or the crossroads. We don't need your address.
Honorable Mayor and council members, I am B.J. Becker, resident, City of Glendale, living at 4520
Really didn't need your
West
address.
El Caminito Drive since February 1970, and a registered and active voter.
Very good.
I have several boxes in my brain. I'm pulling out the box that says casino. I speak only about what is in that box. Folder number 1. Observations. Why a casino in our city? My answer? Greed. Why a casino in the midst of my city, near schools and neighborhood? How a casino in my city? Deceit. The organization bought the site through a shell corporation. Some say a common practice. I say deceit. Why a casino in the sports mecca of our city? Greed. To benefit by luring sports fans to gamble, eat, stay in hotel, and therefore profit greatly by diverting customers from our already established businesses who have to collect a sales tax. What does this organization contribute to our city? Oh, some say jobs, 2,000. Who will be the workers? Will they pay income tax? Who pays their salary? Will they have workman's compensation? These questions are in my mind, should be in yours. Oh, who supplies water, sewer, trash collection, access and egress to the site, traffic control, police protection, fire protection service, medical emergency? Oh, wait. They're an independent sovereign nation, right? So where will they drill their wells, build their wastewater treatment plant, and where will they send the effluent, and so forth? Or, did you know that the city's already developed some infrastructure on this site to provide those services to anticipated tax-paying businesses to the tune of $4 million? Will the tribe pony up this amount? I think not. What with the arrogance already displayed by a spokesman of their leadership? Our city has probably projected anticipated sales tax revenue from this site. Let me guess. How about $3 to $4 million each year? Lastly, why do I think that Peoria and Surprise, the city of Surprise, favor the casino? It's obvious. Greed. At no investment on their part. I thank you for allowing me to express my thinking about the casino. I also invite you to respond. I now close this box. Thank you, B.J. Becker. Since you don't have the privilege of my written notes, I've taken the liberty of making a copy for each one of you. May I give them to you?
If you'd leave them with our
Miss Hannah.
well, with Miss Hannah, that'd be fine.
Oh, and also one for our acting city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Becker.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our citizen comment portion of the meeting. We'll now move on to to council comments and suggestions. And we'll start with Mr. Sherwood.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick note on the budget and my no vote. At our last workshop that we had on the budget back on April 26th, there was 3 items on that agenda. A supplement for fire for $1.5 million, supplement for PD for $5.2, and then a supplement for retirement of about $844K to make that a 2-tier approach instead of hitting them all up at one time. The police supplement was that was the first time we'd seen it. So I thought realistically what we were looking at were the fire and some subset of the retirement, which I penciled out to be about $90,000 to take care of the hardest hit retirement over 65 with family, which had a 33% increase. So disappointed that we weren't able to come back and look at that. Would have been about a total impact of about 1.5 to the budget, and that's the reason why I couldn't vote for the budget as it stands today. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Alvarez.
I have none.
Councilmember Martinez.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one comment. I just want to congratulate Mr. Chang for receiving being recognized by the Historic Preservation Commission for what he's done to his buildings here, the old sign building here in the city. He's put a lot of work into it, a lot of money, and he still has some plans, I think, that he's working on. And I also want to thank the Southwest Ambulance for their contribution for free swim lessons here in the city. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Hugh.
I'll just echo what that Councilmember Martinez said.
Okay. Councilmember Shavira.
No, at this time.
Vice Mayor.
Hi, thank you, Mayor. I'm going to comment on Councilmember Sherwood's comments because I, too, was very disappointed in the April 26th workshop, which was just meant to literally see if there was a way that we could help the fire department in their structural deficit and to maybe help the retirees and the employees with their medical. And that's all that was supposed to be. It was not supposed to be turned into what it was turned into. And I respect our city manager's input on this, but I am like Councilmember Sherwood. I'm still not very happy with the way that turned out, but I will support the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like briefly to just talk about this past weekend. I was at 4 different cemeteries this past weekend, attended 2 different funerals, Phoenix Police, Fire, and also their policemen that were both killed in the line of duty. It was a very emotional weekend for me for several different reasons. I had the opportunity, my daughter brought my grandson over, and as I spent some time holding him and thinking about him. It had me reflecting a little bit on my father, which served World War II and is buried out at the Veterans Cemetery. And I just want to take this time to thank all the people that have served this country, our military, for what they've done. I just found out a little over an hour ago that my assistant, his uncle, he just found out, I guess, in the last few days that his uncle was one of the guys that landed at Iwo Jima, I believe. That's correct? I might be wrong. But, you know, we still have a few of those guys around from World War II. There's not a lot. And I hope that if you have anyone that's still living from World War II, you'll take just a minute and thank them for their service and the people that are serving our country today. With that, that does conclude our meeting. A reminder for the council, we'll be meeting in executive session in B3 in approximately 10 minutes, so if we could meet by 8:15, that'd be great, following the adjournment of this meeting. If there's no objection from the council, this meeting is adjourned.